Hello, so in this video we're going to take a look at the latest news about driving lessons and driving tests. When will driving lessons resume? When are tests going to resume? We'll take a look at all those things. But first of all, I'm going to talk to you about some big trouble that's brewing at big driving schools. Now, as we all know, driving lessons, like everything else in the world, started to become disrupted around about a year ago now. And for the first few months, it wasn't so much of a problem. Now, before we go any further, you need to understand how driving schools work. Very simply, the way a driving school works as a business is every instructor working at the school pays the school a weekly fee to have a car and be supplied with work. So simply, when you work at a school, it's a bit of a strange way of doing things compared to being employed. You pay your employer, which sounds a bit odd, but instructors pay to be given a car, and in return they get the car plus work. Now the thing is, when it works, it's great because you might pay them, let's say £100 a week, and they give you a car and £600 or £700 worth of work in return. So you might pay them 100, but you get much more back, and that's how driving instructors make money. And it's also how driving schools make money. They don't make any money from pupils at all. Driving schools make all their money from instructors, and this is where the problem lies. So what's happening is, during the first lockdown, which was from May to about June, I think it was last year, most schools said to their instructors, look, we'll freeze the franchise fees, that's the weekly fee that they pay. You don't have to pay us. It's okay, just have like not a holiday, but have a payment holiday. When instructors went back to work in July, August, September and October, they started paying the franchise again. Then the second lockdown hit in November. Now this is where some driving schools are starting to run into trouble, because they said, look, we just can't afford to give you another month off without paying the franchise. So what they offered to do was to defer the payments. They said to their instructors, you don't have to pay the franchise fee now, but you can pay it in a few months' time. We'll just delay it and you can pay it later. So everyone thought, well, this won't happen again. This will be the last lockdown, and then things will get back to normal. So most instructors would have taken about a month off from paying their franchise. Now, franchise fees vary massively. It could be anything from, I've seen ones for as little as £5 a week. What do you think you're going to get for that? Right up to like £300 a week. But the average is around about £150 a week. So during November, instructors would have got about £600 worth of franchise payments that they owed, that they didn't pay. So they've effectively got £600 worth of debt, if you want to call it that. Then along came lockdown 3. And the driving schools are saying again, look, some of them, this is not all of them, some of them are saying, look, we just can't afford to not have an income. We need to be earning money to be able to market and to be able to get pupils. And the instructors at certain schools are refusing to pay the franchise fees, and they are being threatened with legal action. Some of them have gone to the press, and I won't be naming these schools. And please, if you leave any comments, don't leave the name of any schools in comments. They'll be removed. They won't even get through, they'll be blocked. Don't leave the names of schools in this video, but there are certain schools that are taking aggressive legal action against their own instructors, and they are saying you've got to pay the fee. If you don't like it, go. Some of those instructors have now got together and formed a group, and this is a group of hundreds and hundreds of driving instructors, and there is going to be so much trouble at certain driving schools when things get back to normal, because many instructors are simply saying either we're not going to pay the fee, we're off, or they say, look, we'll pay the fee, but as soon as we can, we're going and we're never coming back. And those schools are going to find it hard to recover from that, because they are ruining their reputation. There are some instructors that have been at these schools for years, sometimes decades, and they are being, I don't say forced, but they're being made to pay franchise fees. Now you must understand, the schools are not actually doing anything wrong legally. The instructors have signed a contract, they've signed to agree to pay these fees. So legally, the school is doing nothing wrong. But morally, ethically, are they doing the right thing by charging instructors that have got no income a fee for the car and work that they're not getting? So there is a massive problem building in the background. Like the video I made about driving test waiting times, you won't see the impact immediately because it's all like a dam with the water building up and building up. And even when we come out of lockdown, it's not just going to suddenly go. It will slowly open, and then one day there's going to be a massive problem. And I would not be surprised at all if some large driving schools don't survive this pandemic. I would think that at least 2 big driving schools will collapse during 2021. So yeah, if you are an instructor having problems, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments, but don't name any schools, because I won't be putting the name of any schools in this video. If you're a pupil learning at a big school, it can cause problems for you as well, because what's happening is a lot of instructors have been paid money ahead by pupils. They've been living off that money during these lockdowns, and some of those pupils are now saying, I want the money back. But the instructor's already spent it, and that's becoming a problem. Not for me. I don't have a franchise. I work on my own. I haven't got a single penny at the moment paid ahead by anyone. I refunded everyone back in November. I don't generally get people to pay ahead anyway, so I'm okay. But if you're working at a driving school, or if you're a pupil at a driving school, the problem is the instructors are going to effectively be working for nothing for months, because they've got this massive amount of debt hanging over their head from unpaid fees. They've already spent the money pupils have paid them for the next few weeks or months of lessons, so they've got nothing coming in, and they're still having to work, and they've got the fees going out. So if you're an instructor working at a driving school, I do feel for you at the moment, because it's always the worst position you can be in. To be a driving instructor working at a driving school, it's the worst position you can be in as an instructor. Most instructors by far want to be on their own. We all want to be independent. Nobody really wants to be working at a school. If you do, you have to ask yourself why, especially when things like this happen. So that's been a lot about driving schools. What about driving tests and driving lessons? Well, at the moment, the government is saying that the earliest they're going to review the lockdown is February the 15th. There is no way the driving lessons are just going to resume just after that, because I know some instructors are really hoping they're going to be back on the 16th. There is no way that they are just going to come on TV and say, hi everyone, lockdown's over, everyone back to normal tomorrow. No chance. I would say, and so far I've got all of my predictions correct. I said back in, was it March last year, I said I don't think things will get going again until 2021. And I remember someone left a comment in July saying, you're a waffling idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, it's all back to normal now. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think that lessons will resume probably after Easter. I might say early April. I don't think, even if lessons start up again, a lot of instructors who are in the vulnerable categories and whatever may not want to start up again. Driving tests are going to resume probably a couple of weeks after driving lessons resume, because you can't just say driving tests are back on tomorrow. No one's been practicing for weeks or months, so you shouldn't have been anyway, because at the moment you're not allowed to do lessons at all, even with your parents or relatives or whatever. So my guess is the lessons will probably resume in April. Driving tests will probably resume about mid-April to late April at best. It may be later, but who knows. The vaccine is going well. There's something like 10% of people have had it now. And I think, is it by February? They're saying all of the over 60s should have had it or something like that. So at the moment, it doesn't help me and it doesn't help pupils, because most pupils are under 60. But we'll have to wait till nearer the time to see. Something else that's been going on is that the DVSA did look into allowing driving instructors to pass pupils. They did look at it and think, would this work? And they've said no. And surprisingly, and I think correctly, they've said no, because it just wouldn't work, would it? to be passing your own pupils. Maybe to mark other people's pupils, but then you could fail them and say that instructor's no good, come to me and I'll get you a pass with my mate down the road who passes people. It wouldn't work, it'll be mayhem. So they've said no, that won't be allowed. They are still sticking to the guns as well when it comes to theory test certificates. They are saying they won't extend them. I know a lot of people are angry about that. You get the feeling the longer it goes on, the more they might have to do something to extend them, but they are saying that they can't do that at the moment. So that's all the latest news for now. If you've enjoyed this video and you want more news updates, leave me a thumbs up and a comment, and I'll do more videos like this. Check out these other videos on the screen now, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.